Episode 7 is shaping up to be the most emotional, the most revealing, and the most painful chapter of The Summer I Turned Pretty Yet. The air around Cousins Beach feels heavier now, like everyone's been carrying secrets too long, and one by one they're about to drop. Belly's smile is thinner. Jeremiah's confidence is cracking. And Conrad is finally stepping into the light, but not without exposing the shadows he's been hiding in. The preview for episode 7 doesn't just tease drama, it warns us that every relationship we've been watching could change forever. After the chaos of the volleyball fundraiser, nothing feels settled. Belly's left replaying moments in her head, the way Jeremiah avoided her gaze after the game, the way Taylor slipped away without explanation, and the way Conrad stood at the edge of the water, looking like a man who had something to say but couldn't. In this episode, those silences start to speak louder than words. We've seen hints of Conrad's breaking point, but now his guarded front is splintering. He's been holding back truth after truth, not just about Belly, but about himself, about his family, and about promises he made that he couldn't keep. For Jeremiah, the pressure is building differently. In episode 6, his doubts began creeping in, but here in episode 7, they're staring him in the face. He knows something's changing between him and Belly. It's in the way she hesitates before answering, the way she's suddenly quieter when he talks about their future. And the ring, the symbol of their engagement, is starting to feel heavier than it should. He's proud of their commitment, but deep down he's beginning to wonder, does Belly wear it because she's certain, or because she's scared of letting go? Taylor's role in this unraveling web isn't small either. Her injury lie might have seemed harmless, even helpful, but the truth is, it set off a chain of events she can't control. Belly trusts Taylor, but if she learns the truth about that night and how it played into Jeremiah's fragile state, there could be a crack in their friendship that's impossible to fix. And Taylor's own heart isn't steady. She's been juggling loyalty, romance, and guilt, and episode 7 could be the moment she realizes she can't keep all three. But the most haunting thread of this episode is the quiet pull between Belly and Conrad. No fireworks, no shouting matches, just those small moments where they end up near each other and the air shifts. Conrad's truths, the ones he's about to reveal, aren't the kind you can walk away from. They're the kind that change how you see a person forever. The question isn't whether he'll tell her, it's whether Belly will be ready to hear it. And when she does, will it make her choice clearer or blur the lines even more? By the time episode 7 ends, the tension won't just be between the boys. It'll be inside Belly herself. The life she thought she was building with Jeremiah, the comfort she thought she had in Taylor's friendship, and the closure she thought she could have with Conrad, none of it will feel safe anymore. This isn't just another chapter at Cousins Beach. This is where everything starts to come apart. The fundraiser may be over, but its aftershocks are still rippling through every relationship, and episode 7 wastes no time showing just how deep those cracks run. Belly wakes up the next morning with the kind of heaviness you can't shake, the kind where even the sound of the ocean feels distant. Her thoughts are tangled. Snippets of Jeremiah's awkward smiles, Taylor's quick excuses, and Conrad's almost confession play over and over. This is the kind of morning where you realize the night before wasn't just about a game. It was a warning. She can feel the shift, and so can everyone else. Jeremiah, usually the one to charge ahead with a grin, is quieter now. He's watching Belly in a way that's not just affectionate, it's searching. He's looking for reassurance in her eyes, and when he doesn't find it right away, his mind fills the silence with doubts he can't quite push away. For Jeremiah, the ring on Belly's finger is supposed to mean certainty, but lately it's been carrying the weight of a question he's too afraid to ask. Conrad, meanwhile, is dealing with a very different battle. His walls have been up for so long that lowering them feels almost dangerous. Every time he sees Belly with Jeremiah, there's a flicker in his expression. Not jealousy exactly, but regret. Regret for what he didn't say, for the moments he let slip away, for the promises he kept to himself instead of to her. Episode 7 shows us more of that struggle. Conrad isn't trying to win her back with grand gestures or dramatic scenes. He's trying to find the courage to simply be honest. And that honesty might hurt more than any argument could. The preview hints at a moment between them that isn't loud or public, but quiet, private, and unavoidably real. Taylor is caught in the middle of this tightening storm, and she knows it. She can sense the tension between Belly and Jeremiah, and she's starting to suspect that her little help at the fundraiser might have made things worse. Her loyalty to Belly has always been unshakable, but her friendship is being tested in ways she didn't expect. Episode 7 pulls at this thread more directly. Taylor's torn between confessing what she did and keeping the peace, but every time she sees Jeremiah's confidence slip, the guilt grows heavier. And then there's Steven, hovering just outside the main drama, but slowly being pulled in. His unresolved connection with Taylor adds yet another complication. If her focus shifts from Belly to her own messy feelings for Steven, she might not be there when Belly needs her most. What makes episode 7 so intense is that no one here is standing on solid ground anymore. Belly thought her path was clear, engaged to Jeremiah, supported by Taylor, at peace with Conrad's distance. But now, every single pillar she's leaned on is shaking. The emotional stakes are higher because these aren't just fleeting summer romances anymore. They're choices that will define what and who she wants in her life for years to come. And Conrad's truth, when it finally comes out, could be the push that topples everything. By the halfway point of this episode, you can feel that we're heading toward a scene that will either bring long-awaited clarity or break hearts beyond repair. Episode 7 moves into its second half. The atmosphere at Cousins Beach feels heavier than the summer air. It's the kind of heaviness that makes even the smallest interactions feel loaded with meaning. Belly is starting to notice things she used to overlook. Jeremiah fidgeting with his watch when she talks about the wedding, the way his eyes dart toward Conrad without meaning to, the way Taylor avoids direct answers when she asks about the fundraiser. None of these moments are explosive, but together they build an unshakable sense that something is about to give. Belly's internal monologue, silent but visible in her expressions, is one of quiet panic. She's asking herself questions she doesn't want to answer. Why does she still wonder what Conrad's thinking? Why does Jeremiah seem more distant with each passing day? And if this engagement was supposed to make her feel secure, why does it now feel like a tether she's afraid to pull too tightly? Jeremiah's own struggles begin to show more openly. In the earlier episodes, his optimism was almost unbreakable. He laughed easily, planned ahead without hesitation, and carried the relationship like it was his safe place. But now, small fractures are showing. He's starting to sense that love alone might not be enough to hold Belly's heart, especially if part of it still belongs to someone else. In one moment, he tries to joke with her about the wedding menu, but the way she forces a laugh tells him everything. It's not that she doesn't care, it's that her mind is somewhere else. And Jeremiah knows exactly where. The insecurity that's been quietly building since the fundraiser now threatens to spill over. The more he feels Conrad's presence in Belly's orbit, the harder it is to pretend it doesn't matter. Conrad, for his part, is reaching a turning point. He's been careful, too careful, to stay just far enough away that Belly can move on without guilt. But this episode pushes him past that line. The burden of unspoken truth has become unbearable, and it's starting to show in the way he looks at her, the way his voice hesitates when he tries to say something important. Episode 7 captures this subtle unraveling. No dramatic confessions yet, but enough tension in their shared moments to make the audience lean in. For Conrad, this isn't about winning her back. It's about finally being honest, even if it changes nothing. And that honesty is going to cut deep. Taylor's position is becoming more dangerous with each scene. She's not just a bystander anymore, she's part of the chain reaction. Her choice to fake that injury may have seemed small at the time, but the truth behind it threatens to shatter the trust between her and Belly. And then there's Steven, still hovering in her emotional background, complicating her ability to focus on anyone else. If Taylor can't be fully present for Belly during this unraveling, it could mark the first real distance between them since childhood. In the episode 7, every relationship feels like it's hanging by a single thread. The way characters look at each other lingers longer. The pauses between words feel sharper, and the weight of what hasn't been said overshadows everything. It's no longer a question of if something will break, it's when and how much damage it will cause when it does. And as the tension builds, one thing becomes clear. The truth is coming, and when it arrives, there will be no going back. One moment, the sun is still clinging to the horizon, painting Cousins Beach in gold. The next, that light is gone, replaced by the cooler tones of dusk, and with it, the weight of everything unsaid. This is where the season's emotional undercurrent swells into something undeniable. No more distractions, no more pretending that time will fix what's broken. For Belly, the day's events have been a slow drip of realizations. But as evening falls, the dam is ready to burst. The engagement ring on her finger has become a constant presence in her mind. She notices how it feels against her skin, how heavy it suddenly seems. It was once a promise she clung to, a symbol of certainty in a summer of chaos. But now it feels like a reminder that promises can be made for the wrong reasons. The smiles she once wore so easily around Jeremiah have been replaced by guarded expressions. And every time her eyes catch Conrad's across the room, or across the sand, it's like an old wound reopens just enough to sting. She hates that part of herself still reacts to him, still searches for him without meaning to, because that's not what being engaged is supposed to feel like. Jeremiah, meanwhile, is battling an entirely different storm. His love for Belly has never been in doubt. If anything, it's been his driving force. But love, he's starting to realize, isn't the same as security. All day he's been watching her, noticing the way her gaze sometimes drifts when he's talking, or how she hesitates before answering a simple question. These aren't massive betrayals, but they're tiny fractures in the foundation of their relationship. He tells himself it's nothing, that she's just tired, distracted, stressed about wedding details. But deep down, he knows it's more than that. He knows that Conrad's presence has always been the shadow in their story, the part of Belly's heart he's never been able to touch. And for the first time, Jeremiah feels like he might be losing more than just her attention. He might be losing her completely. For Conrad, the evening brings a different kind of reckoning. He spent so much of this summer staying silent, convinced that giving Belly space was the right thing. But watching her now, torn and uncertain, he can't help but wonder if his silence has been its own kind of betrayal. The preview for episode 7 hinted at a moment between them. A quiet, private exchange, and this is where it lands. They find themselves alone, maybe only for a few minutes, but it's enough. The sound of the waves fills the silence between them. Belly tries to keep her voice steady when she asks how he's been, but the way she's holding herself, like she's bracing for something, tells him she already knows this isn't small talk. Conrad's eyes hold that mix of vulnerability and defiance he's worn all season. And then, slowly, carefully, he starts to speak. The words don't come all at once. They arrive in pieces, like fragments of something he's been building up to for years. He talks about the promises he made, to her, to himself, to people who aren't even here anymore. He admits to the weight he's been carrying, the guilt, the grief, the things he never said because he thought it would be easier for her if she didn't know. And then, maybe without even planning it, he says the one thing Belly never thought she'd hear. Not now, not like this. It's not just that he still cares, it's that he's never stopped. Belly's heart twists, because hearing it out loud is different from wondering, different from reading it in the way he looks at her. It's dangerous, because it plants a seed of doubt in the very soil of her engagement to Jeremiah. She wants to say something back, anything, but the weight of the moment presses down on her, and the only thing she can do is stand there, feeling the air between them shift. This isn't a grand reunion. It's a wound being reopened, and the pain is real. While all of this is unfolding, Taylor is fighting her own battle. She's been watching the day unravel, sensing the tension, but not fully knowing how deep it runs. She still hasn't told Belly the truth about the fundraiser, that her injury wasn't real, that she manipulated the teams to help Jeremiah. At the time, it seemed like loyalty. Now it feels like betrayal. And the longer she keeps it to herself, the more it threatens to fester into something worse. Her loyalty has always been to Belly first, but this summer has made it harder to navigate those lines between friend, confidant, and co-conspirator. She doesn't want to lose Belly's trust, but she also doesn't want to admit that she might have been part of what's now tearing her apart. Stephen, ever the observer, finds himself caught in the crossfire without even trying. His connection with Taylor has been on and off, hot and cold, but lately it's been pulling him back in. He sees her guilt, even when she thinks she's hiding it. And though he's not directly in the middle of the Belly-Jeremiah-Conrad triangle, he's starting to understand that every relationship at Cousins Beach is connected, and when one thread unravels, the whole thing starts to fall apart. As the episode moves toward its close, there's a stillness that feels deceptive. No shouting, no big public blow-ups, just a series of quiet, loaded moments that leave more questions than answers. Belly sits on the porch later that night, looking out at the dark water, turning the ring on her finger over and over. Jeremiah passes by, but doesn't stop to join her. Taylor sends a text she doesn't have the courage to send. Conrad, somewhere on the beach, stares at the water as if it holds the answers he's been searching for. The final shot isn't explosive, but it's haunting. Belly alone, the ocean stretching out in front of her, the sound of the waves loud in the silence. Her expression isn't just conflicted, it's almost like she's realizing that no matter what choice she makes, someone she loves is going to get hurt. And maybe, just maybe, she's starting to wonder if she's already lost both of them. Episode 7 doesn't end with resolution. It ends with tension so sharp you can feel it through the screen. The truth is out there now, hovering between them all like a storm cloud that's about to break. And when it does, there's no telling what will be left standing. This is no longer just a story about summer love. It's about heartbreak, choices, and the reality that growing up means understanding that love is as much about what you can't have as it is about what you do. And for Belly, Jeremiah, and Conrad, that reality is about to hit harder than ever before.